Morning, everybody. We are yet again starting another project. So this time we are actually going to do a fire pit cover that's obviously going to go over our gas fire pit. And no, we will not be using it while the fire is going. It will be taken off, and it's just, being in Florida, we're going to be able to put this fire pit on like, I don't know, 5 times. So the other 99.99% of the time that we're using it is simply going to be for decoration and for use. So as you guys saw in my last few stories, we did a Anna White customized chairs for outdoor. So we're going to match the same pattern, the same style, the same, going a little bit different. I'm actually doing a vertical herringbone pattern. I kind of got the idea from Holly and Brad at Arfo Farmhouse. And if this works out good, I'm actually going to create another table outside, but that'll be another future project. Let me show you what it is that we're doing here. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn it around. This is our old fire pit, and it's been sitting in the garage for the last 5 months, and we wouldn't have used it anyway because it's a dead heat of summer here. But what we're going to do is we're going to clean this up, and as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to spray paint all of this wicker basket looking thing white. The outdoor carpet that we got that I'll show you obviously towards the end. So I'm going to spray paint, clean it, spray paint the bottom of it white, and then start building the tabletop. And I know it's empty right there, but we also have a lot of fiberglass too. So the first thing I did is I got a piece of really cheap plywood. As a matter of fact, I actually had it left over, so I didn't even have to buy any. This is from another project that we had did earlier. But yeah, all it is a 1/4 inch thick plywood, and all I did literally put the bigger piece on top of this and then drew a line all the way around what I needed to get it cut. I used a table saw and simply cut off what I needed, and that was pretty much it. That's going to basically be, I'm going to create a mosaic on top of this, and there'll also be a frame around it too that will fit over nicely over this. And it should look actually very, very cool, and can't wait to show you guys the progress. I want to show you kind of the pattern that I'm going to be doing here. It's going to be a vertical herringbone. I don't even know if that's a specific word or not, but if it's not, I just coined it, and hashtag it if you guys want. But how I wanted to start this all the way across is I measured it from one side to the other, and it's basically 35 inches this way and this way, which makes the center 17.5 inches. So I basically created my center line, drew a line here with a nice level, obviously a straight piece of wood or something, and then the same thing going across. Now, these little pieces of wood can be anything. I decided to go 3 inches, which is a 3-inch board, which is technically only 2.5 inches, but 3 for this purpose. And then I cut it at 6 inches wide. And I basically just laying them one here, one here, one here, one here. And then once I'm done with this whole pattern, then I start, going this way, and then working myself this way. Then when I get to the actual ends, there's going to be some hell over. That's no problem. I can just use the chop saw or the miter saw, whatever you want to call it, to actually make the straight edge. Because then I'm actually going to frame this whole thing, and project would be complete. So stay tuned for some more tips here. Here's another tip. So in order for me to get the same exact or the correct amounts on each one of these, I simply just measured out the first one to 6 inches, and then I put a piece of tape where it's supposed to go, and I just hit this one right there, and it's all done. And by doing that, I can remain consistent with every single one of my cuts here, and they'll all be 3 inches by 6 inches, and look pretty darn uniform. Okay, so I now have all of the pieces cut for this. It really wasn't that bad. I think I should have counted at the beginning, and I apologize, but I think I only cut maybe 4 or 5 8-foot boards. So fairly inexpensive to do so far, and the only thing I have to do now, I shouldn't say only, because there's still plenty to do. Now that I know how many I need and how many I have, I'm going to take all of this off, and then you might be saying, how am I going to attach it? I'm going to try to be sneaky about it, and I'm actually going to glue all of this down, let it sit there for a day or so, and then turn it around and actually shoot nails in through the back, so it'll stay nice and secure and not have any nail holes on here at all, so it'll all look nice and smooth and cool looking. Once that's all done, and then I also then put on the frame on all of these, once I actually cut all these to shape, I'll then stain it, of course, with Old Barn milk paint stain as usual to match everything else in my darn house. But for right now, I'm going to take all of this off, take off the top, and now start spray painting this bad boy. All right, first coat is on, and it's actually looking pretty sharp. I mean, it definitely needs a second coat, but I'm really happy with how it's going to come out, especially with that stained wood at the top. It's going to look really, really nice and classy. So I glued on all of these pieces, and everything is pretty darn level. I'm pretty happy about it. I just got to clean up some of the glue here for overnight, just so when I put a new set on tomorrow that's perfectly cut, it'll be smooth instead of lumpy. So I'll wipe that off tonight before I head to bed, let this dry overnight, and then I will start this back up tomorrow and cut all of the pieces here and glue them on. Okay, it is now time to start filling in all of these little pieces here since it's dried overnight. And all I'm going to do here is I'm literally, just to make it an even cut here, is I'm literally just putting it, a piece of wood in there, marking it, you know, right here, and then basically heading over to the miter saw and cutting each piece. It might be a little tedious, but to be honest with you, there's not that many. I'll probably have to do about 15 cuts and then that'll be about it. Okay, all of the cutting is now done. I put the trim on all the way around as well, and as you can see, this is, well, let's see if we can do it, lift it up. But yeah, basically it lifts up and completely off. So what's next is I'm going to get a sander. Actually got a gift card to Home Depot for my birthday in a couple days, so I'm going to buy an orbital sander and sand all this thing down like one of those nice cutting boards. So that's it, guys. Totally complete, and pretty excited. I think I maybe need to sand it down a little bit, but right now we only have one coat on there. I'll talk about it with Kel to see if we want to put on a second coat, but yeah, we actually really, really like it. It's so nice and clean, and it fits perfect out here with the chairs. And maybe now looking at it, maybe I do need to put a second coat on to match the chairs. Well, with all that being said, I hope that you all have a great rest of your weekend. We appreciate you guys following along and all your support with that. Feel free to DM us any questions that you have. As you know, we're pretty good about always following up pretty darn quickly on those. On those. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and thanks for hanging out with us. Have a great one.